One additional feature that we recently changed in Boozang is the API loading test. So we supported this before, but right now we've changed it so it's a new action type. So the way it works is that you will create a new test, and what we do here is that I don't know if you looked at the video previously, but we have now, for instance, a post, a get, and a delete, and these are done against by recording this UI, right? So in the lab we have this form fill functionality that posts data to an API. So what we've done now, we have a post, we also have a get when you do show users in DB, and we also have a delete. So that's what you're seeing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new API test, and we're just going to call this load test. And then we're going to choose the API host. And what you want to do is, what we support is the fact that, let's go back there. What we support here is that you can now use existing API actions that you've either recorded or created in your load test. So let's start by that. So what we're doing here, I'm doing new and I do load test here. And when I do that, as you see, we have a list of API tests. And what we allow you to do is not just doing like 1,000 post requests or 1,000 get requests. You can do like a group of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to post some data, then we're going to try and load the data, and then we're going to delete it afterwards, which is usually a pretty good group because you won't get tons of data build up. So we're going to try that now. So I'm going to use the plus, and it's still going to find this. I'm going to do first, I'm going to select from the form the post request, and then I'm going to add again. I'm going to do the get request, and then again I'm going to make sure we have the delete. And then what you want to do is, of course, you want to make sure that when you post, you want to make sure that the variable for the ID is carried over. And actually here, we're lucky. Normally you needed to do some manual work here. But what you basically want to do is you want to make sure that what's being returned from one of the scripts is being set when you try to retrieve the entry, which is actually correct here. You see how it says parameter ID here, right? And then you want to make sure that that's also carried forward to the delete function. So we will open the delete function. And as you see, there is also the ID function there, right? So now, of course, here you would normally need to do a little bit of work, but we're just going to try and see how this works. And we're not going to do something crazy. We'll use 30 seconds, 10 users, and a ramp up time of 10 seconds, okay? And we'll play this to see what we have in the end. And in the meantime, you can actually kind of play around with this and see what's happening. Well, it looks like a bunch of things are being created. Let's hope they're being deleted as well. So maybe there was a mistake I did, but we'll see very soon if that's the case. We will see as soon as this completes if it's managed to kind of clean up the users. Because what's happening now is you'll have a lot of concurrent users doing the requests, and then in the end we're hoping, as you can see, it cleaned up afterwards. So now what you want to do is you want to hit this report icon, and now you can see here, you can see, okay, we have the load test being executed. That's great, but that's not what we want to do. You want to look at this ramp up report because we did a ramp up load test. And what you can see here is as we ramp up and as the requests are hanging, the request time goes up a little bit, hitting almost here around 1.5 seconds. But as you can see, it managed to process over 3,000 requests in 30 seconds. So at least that's about 100 requests per second, which is about what you would expect. So this is the kind of simple API test you can do, how you can simply group, for instance, a creation API request, a deletion, and you can play around with this and of course specify how you carry forward the data.